Hello, Jimjamatic here. Welcome to a brand new episode of Robot Wars episode reviews. This is Heat J of Series 2, and I'm joined once again by the man with the plan, Sam, Elliot64.
I don't know about a plan. I don't have many plans, but hello, I'm here as well.
He's here, and it's nice to have you back. Nice to have you back again, of course.
It's good to be back. Very good to be back.
And this Heat is.
Do you know what? I was watching this Heat. I watched this Heat literally about an hour ago as we're recording this, and there were actually some pretty interesting robots in here. And I'm gutted that certain ones went out when they did.
I think I know which one you're referring to, but
I will come to it when I come to it.
Yeah. So considering that we just come off Anson's favourite Heat, and now I would consider the last three Heats of the series sort of before the semi-finals,
lackluster.
Particularly next Heat, which is Plunderbird's Heat, and Hardvark's Heat, are definitely lackluster in particular. Which is a shame, because you think Plunderbird, they're awesome, but it's just, I don't know, there's nothing really that interesting in that Heat apart from Plunderbird.
True.
And even then, Plunderbird's not that great in this series, it's just sort of a slow pusher.
With that said, though, I mean, ultimately, the draw was how it was.
I mean, out of the three Heats, this is probably the more interesting one, so...
Yeah. The draw is how it is, and sometimes you get a draw where, for example, in this series where two good robots like Chaos and Mace fought each other, or Roblox, we got a lot of good robots in there.
Yeah.
Things like Onslaught and Kilohertz, and it's just sometimes these things happen ultimately.
Yeah. But then they get like in Series 3, we get Spike versus Blade.
The greatest two names ever.
I can't wait for that Heat, because that's going to be interesting.
I'm so excited for that Heat.
I mean, I'm just going to slight spoiler now. That's my least favourite Heat at Series 3, so there we go. That's going to be something. Anyway.
We'll get to that eventually.
That is our catchphrase. We've got a lot of stuff to get through Series 2 before we've got the grudge match special and all that before Series 3.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Anyway. That'll be fun. So, we'll start with the Heat winner, who, I would say probably did deserve to win this Heat, in fairness. It was probably the best robot in the Heat.
It was the best robot in the Heat. GBH. Team Joint Effort.
Yeah, these were Scrapper in the last series and Facet in the next series, who got very lucky, actually, because they had a good flipper on Facet as well.
They also had a hard Heat list series, didn't they?
And GBH 2.
I actually didn't know, because I obviously knew about GBH when GBH 2 arrived. I didn't know it was the same. I thought it was a different team. But with a different robot, obviously knowing that GBH existed, but it was actually the same team.
I recognised a couple of them. Yeah, they were still there from last time. It's quite a long gap, isn't it, between Series 3 and Series 6? I mean, like, it's kind of odd because I don't think they tried for Series 4 and 5. They just kind of appeared in Series 6.
I mean, I'm sure someone will correct us, but I didn't know if GBH did apply for 4 and 5. They might well have done.
I don't think they did. I'm just going to check the wiki quickly, because I don't think they did. But GBH is definitely, like, one of the early lifters. It's not as, like, highly praised as something like Cassius, for example. It's not a bad robot, to be honest with GBH. I mean, you can tell...
It's fairly good. I mean, it's for what it is, I think it's pretty good.
You can tell they used the shell from Scrapper. Like, I got slightly corrected during one of the...
It's their chassis, isn't it?
Yeah, because I remember I got slightly corrected when I was in your recording for Heat 5 of the new series, and Velociraptor and Mighty Mouse they are different robots, even though they look very similar. But in this case, they have used the... Actually, they haven't entered Series 4 and 5. They just didn't enter, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't think they have.
Because I think in the pits, they showed a shot where you see it without the shell on it.
And you can
literally they literally say it's the chassis of Scrapper from the last series.
They even used some of the saws at the back of GBH for some reason. They never ever used them. They were just there.
Well, I mean, they're there just in case someone goes on the back, I think.
But they were so into the robot that we're never going to touch anything. It's like, it's on par with Terra Australis' saw, which was 2 centimeters out of the robot.
Terra, what a great robot that is. But anyway, we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah.
GBH was the best robot in this Heat. I mean, there's no doubt about that. They used great tactics in the tug-of-war as well, using the spikes at the front.
Yeah, and they had the greatest tactics in the semi-finals. Just drive into the pit to get as far as you can.
Yep.
Hey,
right idea.
The Plunderbird technique. Just get as far as you can, no matter what.
Yep, absolutely. Makes sense.
And the only problem I think with GBH is I think it was just a little bit slower. Because I think maybe there was some Scrapper that can't control fast robots, so maybe they're trying to make it slower this time. I mean, it worked. I mean, they're not out of control again, but I think that's the only thing I think it would have had. If it was in the battles, I think it would have had a bit of a slight problem.
I mean, in fairness, it didn't really need the speed, because obviously the arena in these days was a lot smaller than what it was in the future.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, imagine in Series 3 they really went for the speed, didn't they, with Facet? It's like was it like 30 miles an hour, something like that?
It was more
really?
than that, I think. But yeah. I mean, GBH was very consistent and very well controlled. And I think ultimately, as I said, the best robot in this heat definitely won.
Oh, agreed. Yes. It's just a nice. It's a very Series 2 robot, but it's a good Series 2 robot. I'm not bashing it. It's just you can tell it's from Series 2.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
I guess there's not too much to say about it. It's just Scrapper 2.0, but better.
Yeah, good Scrapper.
Good Scrapper, yeah, because the previous Scrapper fell over after bumping into Recyclops, so...
Nice centre of gravity. I think I was there for that heat as well, wasn't I? I think I was there for that heat.
No, I think that was... Actually, it was. No, I'm thinking of Heat C. That was a Master Raff Heat C. Yeah.
Yeah. I was Heat B. Yeah.
Yeah. So you seem to follow you around, Scrapper, doesn't it?
Yeah. Maybe I'll be in the
Heat
next year. Anyway.
You mean Heat O? Yeah. Anyway, so the runner-up for this heat, who, I don't really get this robot, to be honest.
I understand. I get the idea because it's meant to be a Knight Helmet, isn't it?
Ivanhoe, yeah. I mean, this is Splinter in Series 4 and 5, which is much better than Ivanhoe.
It's in fairness, I think you have to consider this is a very Series 2 robot.
Oh, definitely. You cannot think any other series it could be apart from Series 2. I mean,
it's a very Series 2 robot.
The best thing about the description, which made me laugh, was when it came out of the thing, they're saying the axe blows at 1 chop a second. That's not very fast.
I suppose it would be nowadays, but even with that said, nowadays they've got a lot more power behind them.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, actually, the thing about Splinter is, while it did have it was a good robot because it was very fast, but also managed to good at trapping robots very easily, and it put a good fight against Hypnodisc. It lasted longer than it should have, really.
Again, we'll get to that fight eventually, but I think with Ivanhoe wasn't bad. It was well controlled by. Was it Craig Wakeman? I think.
Yeah, Craig and his I forget his.
Dad Stewart.
Yeah, Stewart and Craig. Yeah, they were really nice to have on the show actually.
Yeah, they're a good team, and I think Ivanhoe ultimately was just it was well controlled, and I think they fortunate to beat Killdozer.
Yes, they were. I mean, it was that series. We'll get to that. It's a Series 2 bullshit as usual. Actually, they're very lucky to get past the gauntlet. They got stuck.
But with that said, they did push Killdozer into the PPZ, so they were allowed to attack.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, in the gauntlet, they get stuck slightly, which is kind of...
They would have still beaten Broot.
Oh, nah, we'll get to him. But...
let's wait.
But actually, one thing I do find amusing about Ivanhoe, though, just a slight nod. What made me laugh is when he said, "Oh yeah, we're invertible because when you roll us over, you self-right." It took him 2 pushes to roll it over.
And that
doesn't count. That doesn't count.
When GBH lifted it, it just falls on its side, and that was it.
There's one moment I have to get to and say, yeah, later on. But I mean, unlike Pitbull, which actually does roll over once, I was like, this was just like, yeah, it just kind of.
It fell. I mean, I think it would have rolled back over, but it was if they had a bit more force behind the weapon. That was the thing. It was just tipped over by GBH rather than flipped over.
Yeah,
say if someone like Cassius had flipped them.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
It would have rolled over, but yeah.
I mean,
there you go.
Yeah, Ivanhoe's. It's not bad. Yeah, it's not a bad robot. I mean, it's very Series 2. That's its only problem, really. It's very Series 2.
This whole heat is very Series 2.
Yeah, honestly, I look at any of these robots, I couldn't go out and say, I wouldn't say it's Series 3 onwards. This is definitely Series 2. Honestly. Yeah. I mean, speaking of very Series 2,
Talos.
Yes, well, I mean, it's not a bad robot. It's at least reliable. It doesn't break down. It's good. But this is the only thing I have against it, is that I think it's going hands down one of the most blandest robots of Series 2, design-wise.
Talos is there.
It's there. It's a filler robot almost in a way.
Talos is. It's all right.
No, it's not bad. It's Talos.
It's all right.
It's just Talos.
Talos is Talos. I don't really remember it that much. And I don't think they ever come back again, do they, Talos?
No, they don't. It's a one-time appearance. Actually, I think them and Broot are the 2 one-time appearances in this heat.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm Penetrator as well. Actually, half the heat don't come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those robots I just generally can't have an opinion
of. Talos is there.
It's one of those robots I can't find an opinion of. It's just there. It's just like, the weapons aren't going to do. I mean, the spikes are very tiny, so we're never going to do anything.
Yeah. There's not really much to say about Talos. I mean, they survived the gauntlet. They survived. They just survived the tug-of-war.
It's a box with a slight wedge on the front of it that doesn't touch the ground. That's very Series 2.
It's very Series 2. The next one, however, the next machine, I will say, I I would have liked this to have gone further. I think it would have done really well, maybe even against GBH. But Killdozer.
Killdozer is one of the lowest robots of this series, I swear. Like, not as low as something like Griffin or Angel of Death, but it's up there. It is a really,
and of
really
course
low
they
robot.
they went on to become Razorblade.
Amazing, right? And actually made it. I mean, once again, they made a better robot in later on, which is nice to see.
Yes.
I mean, although Razorblade definitely goofed in Series 3, but in Series 4 they
they were unlucky in Series 3. I mean, I think we'll get to
that's it.
I personally think that they should have won that fight, but that's me.
But they were lucky in Series 4 though in Hypnodisc's heat. I mean, they had no chance against Hypnodisc.
I mean, in that whole heat, I think they didn't work once.
No.
They got destroyed in round 1,
and then
in round 2 they didn't do anything, and Terrible killed itself.
Yeah.
And then it was against Hypnodisc, and it was just like.
They've never had a good time, have they, in this series? Yeah. Every time they've appeared, they've had something bad happen to them.
But in fairness, that was their best series in Series 4, so...
It was. I suppose it was, but...
Onto Killdozer.
It's
design.
It's a nice little design, actually. I kind of like the fact it does look like a little mini bulldozer, in a way. It's got a little lifter. Its biggest problem, though, as I said, is that it's so low to the ground, it got stuck on everything half the time. Like, in the gauntlet. It got stuck on the brick wall, it got stuck underneath the brick wall, it got stuck on the ramp. It didn't have, like, a lot of maneuverability sometimes in like weight.
With that said, you have to think. Had they been able to beat and lift Ivanhoe up, would they have taken on GBH and won? Possibly. It was low to the ground. It would have been able to get underneath GBH themselves.
This is the thing. Like, you never know, really. I mean, it did have a lifter that worked. It just was a bit.
They were unlucky. I think the fact that Ivanhoe did deserve to win. From my opinion, watching that fight, as much as the House Robots came in and finished it. They were pushed in there by Ivanhoe, and therefore they are victim to the House Robots. But again, that's just me.
Fair enough. I mean, it's just I don't find a lot of these robots very interesting in this heat, unfortunately. It's one of those things.
I think Killdozer is fairly interesting.
It's one more of the exceptions, yeah. But it's just I mean, just wait for it in Series 3. It'll be a little bit better.
Yes.
In Series 3, it manages to run around arena, do nothing, run into the House Robots, and have a robot die on its own in front of it. So. Hey ho!
Yeah, man, the future's bright for Razorblade.
And then accidentally drive into the pit when one of the other robots is already broken down on one side.
Yep.
But there we go. Yep. Now the other, I think this is the robot you were one of the ones you were talking about. Like you wish had done better. Is Penetrator and
Penetrator. It looks quite funky. I quite like it.
It does look like something made by the military. I mean, the guy was a guy. Didn't the guy work like with like missiles or something?
It worked with It was missile navigation or something for the Ministry of Defence.
Yeah, I mean,
that's interesting.
That's quite a cool backstory for one of the people who just makes a robot only got to pass the first round. But I like the fact. I don't know if it would have done damage really or not, but I like the fact the saw came out like a little slot that's kind of slowly.
Yeah,
it looks cool. I don't know why, like some kind of like Bond machine or something, like like James Bond would have.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Penetrator. I mean. I think they were unlucky in the tug-of-war because they just kind of fell in.
Yeah. Also, this is the only time I've ever seen a robot in a gauntlet get pushed back after getting past the seesaw. I've never seen a robot have ever once you get past the seesaw, usually like that's as far as you get. But Mike, I've never seen.
Dan Battle said no.
I've never seen a robot get pushed back. That's quite unique. I mean, they still got far enough, but it's the fact that they would have got a higher number on their distance if they had that happen. But Penetrator's really cool. Still. I do like Penetrator. I do like him. It's just a shame really that they didn't have any pulling power, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do very well in the tug-of-war.
No, they didn't. But I mean, I thought it looked quite funky. I mean, if it was me, I'd have rather them go through than Talos.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
No disrespect to Talos, obviously, but obviously Talos didn't interest me as much as Penetrator did. But that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Actually, the saddest thing is they never came back.
No, they didn't.
No, it's a shame.
Too busy guiding missiles.
As long as they're helping out our country, I don't really care.
Exactly. And now, I think this is one of your favourite robots.
I feel so bad about this. I don't want to laugh because there's like little kids on it, and
I think the worst thing about this whole thing was when Filippo went to go interview them.
Oh
in the pit,
no, yeah.
they were already gone.
This isn't alright. I don't want to. I feel bad because like the kids in it. They look so tired. This is Broot, by the way, but with like Groot with a B.
Brute.
Basically,
B-R-O-O-T.
Oh, I've just thought of something right now. I'm calling this episode "I Am Brute."
Oh my god!
This is the name of the episode that
I am Brute.
I'm calling it that. I just thought I first said it's like Groot with a G with a B, and I was like, wait a minute, that's an episode title.
That is I mean, look, it's very serious. This is the Series 2 robot. This is it.
No, this is like PS Resistance. This is one of those robots that I always feel bad for making fun of, but at the same time, I kind of enjoy it because I feel so sorry for it. Like, unlike PS Resistance, where I know they're sort of, even the team can know it's not that great. They're kind of laughing at it. They're the opposite. They got devastated by this. Like in comparison, like well, I mean, hell, PS Resistance. You hear Colin Scott calling it a piece of scrap. So, he's admitting, we made quite a rubbish robot. We're willing to admit that, but. Oh, the sadness on this. I've never seen a team so sad like in this series. Like, it's like they'd left before they had a chance to be interviewed. The robot like just got limp. The wheels got cut in half.
Yeah, I was gonna say Matilda cut through something. That's when you know.
It was wood though. It was wood.
Yeah,
but
that's very true.
Wasn't wheels.
Let's face it. It was a first attempt by a family that
never came back.
Yeah, and well, it was a first attempt by a family that clearly didn't have a. Dare I say engineering heritage?
No, I think
in any way. I don't.
No,
I don't know if they had any background or whatever, but I mean they clearly had no.
No, I mean
that's not me trying to say they were rubbish. It's me saying they had no kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of sad because on the wiki page the only pictures it has is official image, a picture of it coming out the starting gate, and a picture of its wheels getting cut in half. They're the only pictures of it and it's just it's like even if it was like like it looked like it could have done well, it's still not like design wise. It's just a box. Like this is literally just a box with wheels on it.
But I mean, you say ultimately these things do get entered in the arena, don't they? But I mean, it's a shame, but at the same time, as we said, it's very Series 2. It is very Series 2.
Yeah, I mean, it does prove why the bricks are a very hard obstacle to get past, because, like, barely anyone...
Yeah.
Like, this thing, it shows if you don't have the power to get past them, or you don't have, like, a combination of power or, like, ground clearance or something, you're not gonna get past. I mean, Victor couldn't get past. I mean, it had, like, the ground clearance of, like, 1,000 meters or something. And...
Well, that's the thing. Like, I mean, even today, ground clearance is an issue. I mean, like, it's like, in the 20... I think it was the 20s, either the 16 or 17 series. There's no spoilers, by the way, here. But
okay.
a few robots had issues with ground clearance. Then, driving actually into the arena. They're having issues with that.
Yeah, it was the whole reason why Overdozer went out, because they got upended.
Yeah, they got stuck on themselves. So ground clearance is still an issue today. If you build it in such a way where your robot, if it gets something bent or something is slightly askew, you pin yourself to the floor, then that's it. You've had it.
Yeah, it's even worse when it's like bricks, when you can't like maneuver yourself off.
Yeah, and like there's you're raised up slightly. I mean, Killdozer got stuck on the ramp, and Ivanhoe got stuck on the ramp because ground clearance was very low. The Gauntlet wasn't really designed for fighting robots, really, was it?
I mean, that's the whole reason why the Gauntlet is criticised as much as it is, because it really didn't allow. I mean, robots like Griffin could have won a heat, but didn't because they got bit hounded by house robots or.
Well, as well as that, robots with ground clearance, which is good design because they can't get flipped.
Yeah, it doesn't benefit
out because of the fact that they couldn't get through.
I mean,
they get stuck.
I mean, imagine robots like Hypnodisc going in the Gauntlet.
It would have struggled a lot.
Because I'm not. I mean, I love Hypnodisc, but one of the things it didn't have was absolute driving skill compared to something like Chaos 2 or something, or Tornado, where they based half their success came from the driving skill.
Yes.
Whilst the Hypnodisc, a lot of it came from the disc, and it's about 10% of it was the driving. So when he came down, like in the pinball in Series 4, they didn't do very well. And it's kind of obvious because it was the reason why is because the disc is the reason why the robot was good. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's the reason why it was good. But at the same time, sometimes it sacrifices one skill for another. And in that case, it was the driving skill.
Again, not that Dave Rose was about driving skill.
No.
He knew what he was doing. It's just the fact that I think it was a difficult robot to control because
Yeah, it
obviously
was, yeah.
the speed at the front would have affected the maneuverability as well. But
It's not as hard as something like Supernova to control at times. I mean, that thing will just gyro itself anywhere.
I think power slides.
No, that thing gyroed itself into the pit. That's the best thing that could.
It does. That was really cool when that happened.
But back to Broot. I don't know. It's just so sad. I don't know why I find this. It's like I find bad. The reason I feel bad with it is not because like I think it's not the best robot. It's because it's just the fact that I'm sort of laughing at how badly they took it and how bad it went. Like not in a bad way. I'm not going, oh, it's funny because the kids were sad. It's like it's just what is it's just I feel bad. It's like a tragic comedy, Brew. It really is.
It really is. But with that said, it's part of the learning experience. I'm sure they had a lot of fun.
Actually, the only cool thing about Broot, which actually someone pointed out one time, I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Broot is actually an anagram of robot.
It is.
Yeah, that's and that wasn't meant to be. That probably wasn't the reason why. I mean, it's probably just a corruption of the word brute, but it's still pretty cool. That's such a thing.
Yeah, it's a clever thing. Anyway, Broot out in the gauntlet. Not really surprising. With respect to them, it was the worst robot in the heat purely because, let's face it, it
was Broot.
It's Broot.
Now, yeah, the trials, which we haven't seen for a while, was the tug-of-war. We haven't seen it since Mace's heat. And this one had some pretty sneaky things going on in this trial. It was
actually quite clever the way that some of the teams did it.
I mean, first of all, the ones that didn't really. I mean, Ivanhoe was pretty standard. They just, did their thing. Didn't need to do much else. Talos had a very normal run, where what you expect, like you pull for a while and then just goes in the pit. But Penetrator didn't last. Last very long. I felt bad for Penetrator.
Got pulled in. I mean, I'm surprised Penetrator lasted not as long as, say, Talos did, as I said earlier. But again, maybe they had some drive issues or something. I don't know.
I just don't know if it was grip or something or lack of power. But
it could have been. I have no idea.
I mean, because they couldn't push dead metal at all, could they? When they're in the gauntlet, so maybe they just got pushed straight back. So maybe it's just drive, maybe, or torque. I'm just saying words I have no idea. I'm talking about like torque. Like I'm just saying.
Torque's like the twisting power. So it could have been the torque issue.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, now GBH and Killdozer decided to just screw the rules. We have spikes. And I mean,
classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge reference.
Yes, it's true. But GBHs didn't. Actually, I guess Karma got GBH because they had spikes and then one of them bent and just went straight into the pit. Like, as soon as those spikes went, it had no pulling power and just went straight in the pit. That was the funniest thing. It was like some higher power went. Screw, you're not allowed to. You can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Bend the spike and you're in the pit. But obviously the time they spent getting the spikes in the ground was enough to keep them in. So that was something. They still. Would you consider that cheating, or would you consider that good tactics?
Well, from GBH.
Or GBH and Killdozer. Killdozer is more of a mistake.
If you've got the ability to do what they're doing, then why not go for it? If you've got the equipment to use. This is the thing. Okay, I'm going to open a whole other can of worms here.
Go on.
Razor versus Tornado.
Oh no, not this. Oh.
Look, if you've got the brain power to think of a solution, use it.
I'm not.
And that's it. That's my. Yeah.
I only said that because I actually agree with you. I think there's nothing in the rules saying they couldn't do that. I mean, they got interchangeable weaponry, so they could have said you can't do that.
I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
Like if they've start your flame wars in this video only.
Go on. I'm.
If they've got the equipment on their robot to allow them to do that, sure, why not? If it hasn't been banned, go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a loophole that you've got.
Actually, in the case of Killdozer, though, it's more of an accident because that's part of the robot. It's not like GBH. GBH had to have those spikes on. But at the same time, I don't consider it. I think in this case it's sort of mixed though, because the whole trial is supposed to be tug of war, not hold, clamp down, and don't move. I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's sort of like giving a bulldozer to one team and then saying that. All right, let's start then. Like, I mean, I think in the tornado example, that's not as. I think, I don't consider that cheating at all. But I think in this tug of war, I feel it's slightly cheap, using additions just to carry on. Like, I don't know. It's just, but anyway. Even if that had been the case, it probably would have gone up against GBH and Penetrator anyway, probably. If there hadn't been spikes. I mean, I don't know. Maybe GBH might have lost to Penetrator, potentially, because it didn't last very long once the spikes were gone.
Possibly, but I mean, I'm kind of glad that it ended up the way it did.
Oh yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
mean,
I'd much rather have seen GBH get through. Yeah, but
Yeah.
maybe Talos should have won. But Talos had a decent run actually, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they did. But anyway, out went Penetrator, and that was that really.
First battle, we'll go to Talos versus GBH.
It got flipped over.
Yeah, I mean it's one of the standard fights really. I mean it's sort of just there's nothing else to really talk about.
Good driving by GBH, flipped him over, job done.
I do like the really pointless paint job down to Talos though. I mean the thing is that if they'd done that from the start, it would have stood out a bit more. But instead they did the edit until the fight before they actually made the robot look more unique. But yeah, flipped over.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you needed, really. And the next fight is a bit more interesting. Killdozer versus Ivanhoe. Now, I think, in fairness, they did push him into the CPZ in this particular case.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it does show that thing where Series 2, where if you get pushed into the CPZ, you're out instantly, almost. And it's that's the reason why the fights aren't as good in Series 2.
Possibly, but with that said, I mean, with Killdozer and Ivanhoe, I mean, Ivanhoe did push it in there, and it was eligible for attack. Killalot was very fortunate to get a hold of Killdozer in such a way where it picked it up.
That was pretty clever though. I mean, how big it is.
Obviously, in those days, I believe Killalot's both of Killalot's arms were joined together, so they lifted up together, didn't they?
Oh, they did, didn't they? Yeah, they couldn't do that.
So it's actually really hard to get it in such a way where it was able to pick it up.
I mean, this is the time when, in a couple of heats previously, it fell over trying to pick up Groundhog.
Yes.
So it's such quite amazing.
With that said, it was pretty impressive to get it up.
Yeah.
And I think it, held it on the flame pit for a bit and then chucked it in the pit, and the team loved it. I mean, let's face it, they were loving it, weren't they?
You could tell
they were very good sports with the Killdozer / Razor Blade.
Oh, they were. You could tell maybe they were thinking themselves, we're going to make a better robot next time. And they did, thankfully, so that's good.
They did.
But the heat final was, again, a very standard one. Flipped over.
GBH drove in, lifted Ivanhoe onto its side, and that was all she wrote. And I did like how when the credits was rolling, they showed the
pushed it in the pit. Pushed it into the pit.
GBH eventually pushing Ivanhoe into the pit.
I love that when there's random bits just at the end. Like there's one in Series 3 where it was Gravedigger against Manic Mutant. When it shows you the status screen, like with all the fights, you see it like near the pit. Like they had a good go at it afterwards, just cut it off after that. But one thing that makes me laugh about this heat, sorry, is I could do like a top 5 favourite reactions like from a roboteer. This would be one of them. The Wait family, when that robot didn't self-right as they wanted it to, was one of the their faces was like this.
They were just there like, what? Oh no, what have we done?
It's supposed to roll over. Actually, it's up there with George Francis when he realised he didn't put the back bit on Chaos and didn't self-right. It's like, put the foot controller down. It's the same thing. It's just like, well, we're out of this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as. I mean, my favourite one personally, even again, it's sort of like a bit like a depressive one, like Broot, is the one when I forget his name. The guy who drives Mute. I forget his name. Did Bonk as well.
Adam Emmett.
Yeah, when
it's the Emmett twins, isn't it?
When Micro Mute got like brutally destroyed by that, he just walked out. I was like, oh my god, that's funny. It's so funny in a horrible way. It's like, I mean, I don't know what happened to Micro Mute between then and then, but it just got mauled.
I don't know if it still runs or not, but that was naughty from the producers. That was. So.
It was kind of horrible. I mean, it wasn't as bad as a Beefcake getting just splattered by Sir Killalot, even after it won.
I mean, it's kind of a different thing with Micro. I mean, that was naughty. That was. It
was horrible, yeah. But so thankfully, out of the two, GBH was the better robot, and it won.
And GBH won the heat, and they go through to our semi-finals, and that was a heat. That was a heat.
That was actually a heat, amazingly enough.
I mean, look, as you said at the start of this review, like the last 3 heats of Series 2 aren't the best.
No, although I will say
purely for the fact that like, the quality of the robots in those 3 are of lower quality to say some of the other heats.
I will say though, in Heat L, there's going to be a lot to talk about with me and Anderson because there's a lot of bad robots in that heat.
And however, next week,
Plunderbird 2.
So excited.
Plunderbird 2, because they got because they did not get anything in Series 1. unfortunately. So they got to do something in Series 2.
We got Plunderman having screen time. I love it.
It's weird how this series is like Mortis, Behemoth, and Plunderbird and King Buxton all have in common that they're long-time Roboteers that only got in Series 2 semi-final.
Yes.
It's weird to think that all four of those were like in a similar situation, but I mean Plunderbird 2, it's a good pusher, but in fairness, in this particular series, I think the team really outweighed the robot in terms of enjoyability. It's such a great team.
Yes.
Love these guys.
We'll get to that next time. I'm well looking forward to that. But GBH, worthy winners of this heat, I'd say. I mean, I'm sure you'd agree with me that, James. But
of course.
Possibly Killdozer could have done some work, but I think it would have been a good fight between those two.
It would have been, yeah. So that was Heat J. Do you do? I forget. Do you do out of 10s like rate rankings or?
Yeah, I mean, out of 10, it's kind of hard to say with this one because it was the right robot won, so it kind of gets points for that. But it was entertaining for what it was. I'd say it's about a 5 or a 6.
If I was going to, I'd probably give it a 5 because it's just like it's in the middle.
It's there.
Like it's not bad, but at the same time, it's not amazing. It's just there.
Yeah, Heat J is there.
It's probably their heat of the series.
It really is.
Possibly tied with Killatron's heat. It's there.
Yeah,
it's there.
Yeah.
So preview for next time, Heat K, of course. Obviously, we've mentioned the Plunderbird 2. There.
Fantastic.
We have Enzyme with I call it a forklift. It never lifted once in the entire series, just there.
Yep.
Demon. But greater things will come from, the good old
Adams family.
But until then, it's just a slow wedge.
Yep.
Phoenix can't drive for shit. It just goes everywhere but straight.
Yep.
Oh god, the Mule. Another one that again, great things are going to come. But until then. It's the Mule. It's greatly engineered, but it's not that good.
As a combat robot, the Mule.
No, as a combat robot.
However, as an engineering feat, it was.
It is brilliantly engineered. I love it engineered. And then possibly my favourite design to Series 2, Megahertz. I love how much point.
Okay, so
I like it.
About Megahertz, alright. Like myself and I don't know, we went on a bit of a side tangent about naming robots, and having fun with naming robots. For example, Kadena Machina from the.
I love that one.
From the Celebrity Special, having a bit of a pun in your name, it's very clever. Megahertz, like what came first? The idea to call it Megahertz and make it, or did the idea to make it a computer come first and then name it Megahertz afterwards?
I don't know, but either way, I'm happy.
It's like Barbarous. Where did the idea of having a churning barber's pole come first, or did the idea, barber's pole? Barbarous.
Yeah, exactly.
What came first?
I mean,
the robot. But
either
way, I love Megahertz.
I mean, I have a slight bias because it's from Preston, like it's the city next to me. So,
yes.
I mean, obviously, I'm not saying they got great success in the series, but they always made nice-looking robots at least. I mean, even Touch Revenge.
Sorry, because obviously, we're going to discuss. We do discuss robots in the future. Megahertz LT.
I like it.
I always thought it was really cool. I was so good it didn't do better, but there you go.
And also Touch Revenge is just there.
Touch Revenge is there.
Touch Revenge first was just the robot that was needed for the highlight reel to show how good Berserk 2 was.
Yes.
That's all it was there for.
Yes. But anyway, Megahertz is cool. I like Megahertz.
Yeah. I mean, before we get to it, I just love the fact that the little disc drive comes out of it.
Yes.
Unfortunately, most pointless feature.
It's all unnecessary and pointless, but it's good fun.
It's a great. It's one of my favourite designs of the series too. So, it's such a unique design. But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to it. This was Heat J. That will be Heat K, and it's just
that was it.
Their heat. The heat was there.
A heat happened.
A heat happened. Yes. So that was me. I'm Jimjamatic signing off.
And I am Sam 64, and we'll see you next time for Heat K.
Bye.